Tyson.
I'm Emma.
I'm Kim.
And we are TEK Talk. Welcome to the second season of our History Hangout. Grab your passports, because today we are going to
The Renaissance. Okay, we have a lot to unpack today, but we have all agreed that we should collectively explore the
Ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Emma, tell us a description of the Sistine Chapel ceiling.
The ceiling of the Sistine Chapel is at a monumental scale, especially for the artworks that we've seen before, and it's known for being one of probably the most famous masterpieces of the Renaissance. It was commissioned by Pope Julius II to Michelangelo, so Michelangelo was the one who made it, and it was in progress from 1508 to 1512. And it is known for being so famous because it depicts biblical narratives, religious symbolism, and it uses like really vibrant colors, which is kind of unknown for like before that time. Kim, what makes the ceiling stand out as a Renaissance art piece?
So the ceiling stands out by many different aspects. The representations of humanistic values are shown throughout. Each figure is shown to be lifelike and full of emotion. It also stands out because it uses like Michelangelo's use of classical influence with Greek and Roman art in the details of the anatomy and the muscular figures, which is also important to the Renaissance. Tyson, could you tell us the importance?
Yes. So the Sistine Chapel is important on so many different levels because of Michelangelo's frescoes. They revolutionized the use of perspective, human anatomy, and also composition. The ceiling has over 300 figures, including the famous creation of Adam when he was like, the little their fingers and stuff. And the frescoes depict like the book of Genesis, which serves as a powerful visual representation of Christian theology, showcasing God's in creation and humanity's relationship with the divine. Also, since it was commissioned by Pope Julius II, it showcased like the Catholic Church's grand power during the time, because you see something so big and you're like, oh, they probably have a lot of money and power. Emma, what was your personal thoughts about it?
While learning about it, I would say like this is probably one of the pieces that I was like really interested in. I really enjoyed learning about this piece. The overall like the size and the depictions of the ceiling are just like really impressive. I think the way that it represents like the creation, fall, and redemption of humankind, it like easily leaves many people in like awe and like kind of amazement. Like, Kim, how did you feel about this piece?
So I really enjoyed how each part of the ceiling had its own story to tell from like the Bible specifically, and I believe that it shows like strong connections between like God and man or human. I can only imagine how difficult it was to like paint it, because imagine like just looking up for like how many hours a day, which is like terrible for your neck. Like,
Yeah. I wonder how bad his posture was.
What about their health? It was also nice to see how Michelangelo used different like colors, and it really added more like to more life to the Tyson. What did you think about it?
I've heard and seen like about the piece beforehand, but when we started going like through the depth and like each like, but we didn't really go through it together because it was like we had a debate. But when we started like I started like looking at it and studying it more, and I looked at like the size and the amount of work that was put into it, I was more amazed. And because like the use of like colors and like the realism was really impressive, especially with the anatomy. And I have just no idea how much detail he just could put in that by just looking up.
Okay, so
We're on to the next piece, which is Emma's individual piece. So let's get started.
okay, so that was our shared piece. So we're gonna move on to my art piece, which is called The Last Supper. It is found in the refectory of the Santa Maria del Grazie Church.
Right. Yeah.
I think is how you say it, and it was made by Leonardo da Vinci, the GOAT. And it is believed to have been made around 1495 to like 1498. and this is an oil and
Tempera.
tempera
Tempera.
tempera on
That's Japanese
plaster,
fried shrimp, by the way.
and it's
Tempera.
13 feet and 9 inches by 29 feet and 10 inches, and it depicts a specific biblical story that encapsulates like the emotion and the depth of the scene.
So, what do you think the importance of it was?
I would say that although many artists during this time period were creating like biblical works, Da Vinci's really does like an exceptional job of like really depicting the biblical scene of like Jesus sitting down with his disciples, and it like shows all the emotions, and it's like the beginning to tell them like that one of them would betray him, and like Da Vinci strayed away from like the typical mural paintings like with using oil and tempera like,
Okay, this is behind me.
and this is also one of his largest paintings, so that kind of made it really important. And just like he really encapsulated all the emotion, like some people leaning towards him, some people leaning away.
Mhm.
It's just like really interesting.
So, what was your like personal like reflection on it?
I would say as a Christian, I grew up kind of already knowing about this painting. Like growing up in my church, like this was very like present and like talked about, but I did not like really understand like the depth of what he actually painted. Like his strokes and like his perspective like allowed me to kind of dig deeper into the impressiveness of this painting overall.
So, yeah.
So moving on from my piece, we have Kim's piece, which is
The Statue of David. What? So, the Statue of David was made by Michelangelo from 1501 to 1504. And originally it stood in one place, and then it got moved to the Galleria dell'Accademia in Florence. It was carved from marble, and it stands 17 feet high, which is really tall. And it showcases Michelangelo's mastery of like the human form. And in the statue, it depicts David like with a slight lean to him, to his body, yes, like that, and one arm resting on his shoulder, and the other arm is hanging on his side. And this figure and like his head is turned like towards this direction, I think, which is like him basically like what is it? Looking at the unseen vision of Goliath, and it's capturing the tension of Lysippos athletes and emotional intensity of Hellenistic statuary. The intensity of Hellenistic statuary. Slay Goliath with a sling. In this very moment I bring. Put it on everything. Wait, what?
so. What do you feel makes this like piece really important?
So this piece, David is typically like represented as a heroic figure after his triumph, but Michelangelo decided to like capture him like being more of a young biblical warrior instead before his major victory, and major victory with Goliath to be specific. Like he had Goliath's head like lying at his feet. The decision highlights like Michelangelo's deep like understanding of human anatomy, as seen in the statue's realistic proportions and detailed like muscular body. A closer look at David's face reveals like a remarkable representation of emotion, tension, determination in his expression. The iconic sculpture is immensely popular with tourists, attracting visitors from all over the world that come to admire the piece because it's so cool and so big. And I think like I would love to see this one day because it's like a big tourist attraction, and it's a big part of history as well. I can also imagine the tension between David and Goliath. Like just by looking at David's face, you can really feel like his emotion yourself. And overall, I think Michelangelo did a great job depicting David with courage before his victory with Goliath. Alrighty, we're gonna move on to the next piece of art, Tyson.
So, this next piece of art, in my opinion, is one of the most influential and just one of the most important pieces of art in pop history, art history, It is the Mona Lisa. So, the Mona Lisa was a painting by the one and only Leonardo da Vinci and dates back to the early 1500s. The painting is oil on wood, oil on wood panel, and it displays a woman believed to be Lisa Garandini,
Yeah.
and the painting stands around 30 by 21 inches and is currently being held in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France.
Yes. So, Tyson, tell us the importance about this piece.
Well, the Mona Lisa is, as I said, one of the most important and influential paintings in art history. Leonardo da Vinci used advanced techniques like sfumato, realism, chiaroscuro, which gave the portrait a lifelike quality and depth. His detailed understanding of anatomy is evident in the subject's natural expression and posture, showcasing his mastery of the human form. The painting has influenced countless other artworks and continues to inspire artists today. Even centuries after its creation, the Mona Lisa remains relevant
Relevant.
in modern culture, frequently referred in media, pop culture, and academic discussions.
No, because it's kind of giving Mona Lisa. It's kind of giving. Woo! Woo! It's giving Mona Lisa.
Tyson, how did you feel personally about this piece?
When I first was introduced to the Renaissance, um, a piece that first came to mind was obviously the Mona Lisa, and I think that piece is one of the most recognizable paintings in art history. So I was not as wowed at it because we've seen it a lot more. Due to me knowing it beforehand.
Familiarity?
However, when we started learning about like the techniques that Leonardo used and all the details, I started to understand um, more of its importance. So, as a wrap up, what did we talk about, guys?
So,
We talked about the Sistine Chapel,
then we talked about,
The Last Supper.
and then we talked about the Statue of David.
and then we talked about the iconic Mona Lisa.
Yes, and
So, are we noticing that some of these are, are for Ninja Turtles?
yeah.
Oh,
Name
yeah.
them right now. Go.
Michelangelo,
Leonardo.
Raphael.
Donatello.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't blame me.
Okay, so we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Oh wait. Let's just like run out the camera. Ready? 1, 2, 1, go. Wait a minute.
Let's move on this rumble and jumble out the way.
It is. Okay.
What was that? Did you see a white thing fly by, or was that just me?
Let's just end it. Okay.
Excuse me.
Hey, Mr. Reynolds. The camera.
No.
We're sponsored by.
No, we're not. Don't do that.
Just-
They're gonna sue us.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry guys. No, we're not.